bringing Sudan together, so at least it gives us a fighting chance when this war ends, that there is a base that we can rebuild Sudan from.
I mean, Elsa Nossi, we are hearing horrific reports coming out of Sudan. You know, not to say the war hasn't been horrific in itself, but what's happening in Al-Fasher, in Darfur, is absolutely horrendous. Can you tell us a little bit about the situation at the moment?
Al-Fasher has fallen, and number of civilians were killed in that in that attack on Al-Fasher. Mass exodus from Al-Fasher towards White Nile State, towards Dabba, towards Tawila. The situation now, or most of the response of the emergency response rooms and other humanitarians are directed to Tawila, because there's a lot of families that made it there, and there was no camps that are ready to receive people. There are food shortages in there. People also came out because Al-Fasher was under siege for 18 months. So most of the people who came out of there, they were like in malnutrition stages. And this is just not. This is just one side of the war in Sudan. Now we see the Kordofans are under attack. And we've seen people exiting.
The drone attacks, etc.
The drone attacks, yeah. So the Kordofan is going to be the new Darfur and the new Fasher.
Yeah, and so many people knew what was going to happen in Al-Fasher. It was predicted, but nobody did anything about it. So let's go back to emergency response rooms. And the fact is that you stem from a long-standing Sudanese tradition of solidarity, Nafir. For those hearing the word for the first time, can you tell us what it means and how you've built it up?
Nafir, the concept, I think it's in Sudan, but I'm sure it's not a foreign concept to many cultures. It's that concept of that you answer when you're called upon. You come together in the community to help one another and to support one another. We see it in Tuti when the flood happens, how everybody will come together from the island to stop the flooding. We see it in Kordofans, where when people come together to help somebody to harvest their crops, and we see it in disaster when there's fire and all that. So this concept is not really old. It's not really new. It's rooted in our Sudanese culture, but it's been used again and again and again, and this generation kind of took it into a whole new level of coordination, bringing people together in solidarity so that they could respond to the crisis happening in Sudan right now.
Your organization, the volunteers, are facing risks all the time, every single day. What can we do, watching and here, to try to help protect them? And also, just what's your hope for Sudan's future?
We're hoping all that this war ends, and that people will go back to their farms and go back to their houses and rebuild the country. The targeting on volunteers, it's always across Sudan. It's happening since this war started. We've lost 146 volunteers from the beginning until today, and these are actually the numbers that we have in the sheets. I'm sure there's more and more people who still did not put in there, but I think the international community, and I think everybody kind of need to look into this and see and ask themselves the question: what more can they do for Sudan? We need the war to stop. We need stability. We need people to go back. We have over 30 million internally displaced right now. We have over 12 million externally displaced in neighboring countries. And this is a country that had so much potential and so many beautiful things, and now we just kind of want it to stop, and then we start to go back to our country and try to rebuild it and get a get a democratic, government that actually led by the people, work for the people, built on services, accountability, transparency, and mutual respect.
Alcinosi Adam, thank you so much, and amazing that you were able to make it here to Stockholm to receive this award in person. Thank you again. A big round of applause.
Thank you.
Gosh, that was quite emotional, I think, for all of us. Now, around the world, women laureates are at the forefront of change. Many lead their work in the toughest of environments, often without the support they deserve. Right Livelihood has launched the Women Laureates Hub to bring them together, to share knowledge, to strengthen the networks, and to stand side by side. Let's take a look at how this growing community is shaping a more just and equal future.
The Women Laureates Hub started to take a form and a real shape in 2024.
Just to remind you that the road ahead of you is not an easy one, but stand strong and united in order to...
We work with human rights defenders and we see challenges for women human rights defenders.
Gender equality is necessary.
And that is one of the reasons that we also wanted to create this safe space where it's not only about the collective action, but it's also about supporting each other.
The idea came into reality when we started to talk to the laureates and we saw their commitment and that they're eager to have such a space.
It's not only a Right Livelihood-led hub, it is a collectively led hub together with the women laureates that are part of it.
You do need a kind of a network that makes you feel that you're not alone, and that gives you the needed strength and courage to keep going.
We consider women's participation and representation an integral part of the development process.
For me, the Women's Laureate Hub provides a safe space for the women laureates to come together and express ourselves in the way we want to, without any reservation or fear.
It gives me a little bit of hope and courage and security because I don't feel alone.
Hi, everyone.
We talk a lot about solidarity, but it's not a given. You know, we need to help support it and help create spaces where that can be made possible.
And I think it's also we learn from each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's important for us to also have a common voice on pressing issues, confronting not only women, but the wider society.
To have impact, you need action. So what I expect from this network is that from here, we go to action to create impact.
And with that, we are, of course, very excited and happy to welcome the laureates of 2025 to join the Women Laureates Hub.
Justice for Myanmar is an anonymous collective. They expose international financial ties that fund Myanmar's military junta. Their work puts them in such danger that they cannot show their faces and we can't even hear their voices. We hope they are listening tonight and watching us tonight, though. Let's find out a little bit more about the work they do.
Nearly 5 years ago, the Myanmar military carried out a coup attempt to overturn the 2020 general elections, which gave a landslide victory to the National League for Democracy Party. Since then, the military has responded to a nationwide resistance with a campaign of terror. Mass killings, arbitrary arrests, airstrikes and shelling, rape and sexual violence, torture, and the systematic burning of villages. We,